very important that we have to understand the information, whatever is being generated by the AI, it still has to be validated by the humans. So human intervention is very much required. The other thing is which is coming up right now is generative AI. I have given an article here wherein you can just look at it as to how the generative AI is playing a role, wherein when we see the models, whatever we are trying to generate here is basically they are trying to understand the conversation of the patient and physicians and build a documentation. But many times, like there is a survey which is done by Class Research, where they say that 46% of the executives, the healthcare executives who have implemented this generative AI technology, says that the accuracy and reliability is the biggest challenge. It means that human intervention is still required. As we see, as I am saying here, the model is trying to generate the information or the draft, but ideally it has to be done through human only because nothing is guaranteed here. Being a healthcare industry, human plays a vital role wherein the one touch from the human intervention is very much required to bring the accuracy of the document to 100%. Very, very important there. Because for any reason, if there are any medical errors, any kind of scenarios which was not supposed to be there. For example, if a physician is prescribing a medication at 100 mcg and the generative AI for any reason is generating a wrong dosage, that becomes fatal for the patient and for the entire healthcare profession as well. So it's very, very important that a human touch is required to build the documentation in spite of AI role in this place. The lastly, I would say you please keep yourself updated on the latest trends. I have also given an article here which will give you an insight about what are the latest trends which are there in the healthcare industry, right from the AI, IoT, telemedicine, all of these areas. You have a beautiful article which you can go through, understand the importance of the healthcare documentation industry. At the same time, what are the potential opportunities which you have as a medical scribe also can be known. So these links which you are seeing here, I have given some articles which will help you to understand the overall context of medical scribing when you're taking it. Moving forward, with all my experiences, what I have actually put up some nuggets for you, which may help you. These are all my suggestions, which you can take it or try to build upon that. When you're choosing your career right now, today, I believe Clini launch research team has been providing certain training program on different areas, like right from the clinical data management, research, and at the same time, pharmacovigilance, and then scribing. So it's very important for you to choose a career very wisely. Why? Because the first 2 to 3 years is very important for any fresher, especially the graduates who are passing out from the college. They are trying to build a career in the first 2 3 years time is very important because these are the years where you need to be very careful about how exactly you're taking forward your industry, your career. So that is one wise advice which I could give it to you. The other thing is believe in every step. Why? Because suppose you have taken today one step and you have to stick to that and see how best you can work on that rather than changing your direction again. Very, very important. You stick to one area, work for an year's time or 2 years' time, understand the industries, uh, get the nitty gritties of the industry, utilize that experience in some other industry. That's my suggestion. But ensure that when you're taking one step, stick to that because a lot of times what happens most of the time, like we have seen in our graduate pool also, certain times there is definitely a fall which we see. Like for example, if you're taking about 100 people, we may see about 5 or 10 people over a period of time they may fall off in first 6 months time. Ideally, we always keep telling them that understand the industry first, try to work on the industry because whatever step you have taken on that day is definitely a good step, not a bad step. So that is what we are asking every candidate to see, that you believe in every step what you take. The other one, I suggest like you bring your best version to the work every day. Take your best version. Every day there is an improvement. When you talk about medical scribing, today whatever your conversations are happening with the physician, whatever discussions which are happening with the physician, there is immense knowledge which is shared by the physicians. You will not get this kind of opportunity anywhere because a client is sitting in front of you and talking to you while he's conversing with the patient. There's a lot of exchange of information is happening on a day-to-day basis. What is happening right now in the industry? So when you talk about this context, you bringing the best tool the provider or to the work is very, very important. So that is one of the important aspect which we have to realize it. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Compare yourself to yourself. The reason is a lot of times we lose peace of mind when we start comparing to somebody else. This guy is doing, he's in this industry and he's trying to do this and he's trying to do this. So we always try to compare. So don't compare. Stop comparing. Stop complaining. Try to work on what you have, because that is going to, as I'm talking about the third one, best version, it's going to keep improvising your version. It may be today 1.0, tomorrow it will 2.0. So you are going to keep working on yourself to see that how you can bring the best in yourself. Learning. Every day is learning. Every year, whatever you're trying to learn. So that is going to take you forward rather than comparing with something else. The other aspect is being a good listener. Observe like a sponge, think before you speak. These are some of the areas which I have worked very closely. The reason is a lot of times we go through emotional outburst when we are in initial careers. We have gone through those scenarios. That's the reason I'm trying to convey this. So try to understand the context, listen even before you speak, think about it. Okay, if you need time, take time, go back to them. Okay, but observe that information as a sponge, which will help you in a long way rather than trying to have an emotional burst at any point in time. If you look at the overall goals, see, when we are trying to build a career here, we definitely have some short-term goals and long-term goals. So that's very, very important. Why it is important? When you are attending some kind of an opportunity, an interview, usually the interviewer or HR will ask you, what is your short-term goal? What is your long-term goal? Or where do you see yourself in next 5 years time? Have a clear vision. You want to work in this industry. You want to do achieve certain things in the next 2 years or 3 years, and what you wanted to become. Tomorrow you can also be one of the CEO. We don't know. So have certain short-term goals, one long-term goals, so you can build upon it rather than you just trying to do as a job rather than take it as a career and move forward. We have done one exercise in terms of building the focus. Part of that exercise, the mental well-being, practice acceptance, gratitude, compassion towards yourself and to the fellow beings as well. A lot of times what happens, we do not see these three areas are very, very important, but you'll only get to know as you keep moving. The more you build, the more humble you become, the more you try to be grounded. So these play a lot of role in your activity, in your daily life, in your personal life, professional life. It makes a huge difference for yourself. So try to practice that. Other one is no ego. Don't be judgmental because everyone has their own story. You cannot judge anyone. So with this, I think it will help you to meet beat deadlines, because suppose today we are talking about certain training programs or certain activities in the career. The always look at how you can beat that particular deadline rather than meeting the deadline, rather than being compliant. How you can actually do well on that is more important there. Just a small thing here to make sure that you know how self motivation plays a role in each every individual. Sometimes it's become very challenging for us to be self motivated, but someday motivation finds you. So this is a classic example where you need to keep motivating yourself, understand how you can motivate yourself, and then keep moving in your career. I would like to share my success mantra, which is basically three P's, which I keep telling everybody. Punctuality was one of the key aspect because you bring in yourself to work every day. It's not about only bringing every day, but you put certain discipline in that. Every activity, what you do, and you do with passion. You have to have that passion to learn that industry. You have to have that passion to exist in that industry and move forward. The last one is patience. Why patience is required? Because nothing we can build overnight. Today, when we are talking to attain or acquire certain skills, you need that patience. You are going through a program in Clini Launch. It takes about maybe 2 months or 3 months time. Why you are doing that? Because you are trying to attain certain knowledge level and move forward. So that's the patience you need to have in every industry. It's not about one specific industry, every industry. This is my mantra, which helped me. What is your success mantra? Find it, stick with it. But I believe there is no alternative for discipline, hard work, and consistency because these three areas will play a vital role in deciding your career a long way. Very, very important. I'm sure you have seen this iceberg illusion of success, wherein what basically you will see for yourself and what people will see uh, is just a kind of, I can say, a mirror in terms of making you understand what are the when you're going through this cycle there are a lot of issues which is going to come in, disappointments, whatever you're trying to do, a lot of emotional challenges, and you being trying to take care of yourself and a lot of sacrifices when you're building a career, a discipline. You need to be really disciplined. How do you manage your time? What is your focus you are putting in place, and what kind of hard work you're placing? All of this matters. How persistently you're working on your goals. All of these things matters for you, but nobody sees them. But the only thing which is seen by others is success. So that is where everybody is looking at it. But at the same time, what we also can do from our side is consistently put that efforts. Make sure that whatever areas you're working, consistently work on them. That's going to give you the success. Through this medium, I also wanted to share some of the aspects, special note to women, I can say, who are aspiring for building their careers. Very, very important that we are all equal. There is no gender disparity here. It's very important you continue to build your career irrespective of the challenges. A lot of times we have seen both from the urban area as well as from the rural background or suburban areas, when they come to the city in terms of building the careers, they usually go through a lot of challenges. They stay in hostels, they try to make up their career, but family back there, they also have challenges, certain challenges. So certain times what happens, the emotional aspect takes a front seat and the career goes back seat. During this time, it's very, very important that you are very stable, think very carefully what you wanted to achieve out of it, and at the same time create that awareness within your family that you also wanted to build your career, which is very equally important. A lot of times we have, because today if you look at Elico or Eliscription, 50% we have women employees. 50%, the almost like 49, 50, 50, 51. It's almost like that. So we have equal importance both for the men and women, and we keep giving them all kind of required necessary support in terms of, for example, anyone is going for a marriage, we give them a marriage leave, ensure that they can come back and then join. We give that family support also required. Some of them go for maternity leaves, they usually come back and then join us. So the organization is there to support. At the same time, the individuals also has to put that effort along with the family support is very much important. So that I believe we have to create awareness, because if you look at in the Western world, that's the kind of importance which they give for both women and men. As we keep growing, as the this particular generation of team of employees who are going to come in, if they have that kind of equal importance, I'm sure we will see a huge change in the industry for the women employees side, because we are talking about women empowerment. There are many areas what we are talking, but it's also important that you need to bring in yourself to the system so that you can actually engage and then see yourself growing in terms of your career. I would like to end this session with two famous quotes. One is from Albert Einstein, which says like, in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. Definitely, you need to keep looking for that opportunity in spite of all the difficulties. The other one is, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. We talked about passion. So without that, you cannot do it. These are the famous quotes, and I really like them because that's where you look at the opportunity wherever you have difficulty, and also you keep loving what you're doing. Without that, you cannot move forward. Thank you so much for the opportunity here. I'm ready for any questions if you have.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Dr. Aishwarya. Sir,
Okay.
I have a experience in medical scribing of around 1.5 years, and I just wanted to ask if I want a upper position in a company, like for a subject matter expert or a quality expert, do I need to put up again for the same as there is a gap in my career of a 1 year, or do I can directly apply for the post?
Ideally, when you're carrying this kind of experience, what you can always do is you can always put up your case in front of the HR team or the operations team. Explain what you and all you have done during that particular time. And what happens, there are certain restrictions in certain companies wherein it depends on the client requirements. If the client is wanting the individual to go through that entire training program, it can be a fast track also. At our end, I'm just giving an example. Suppose you wanted to approach us, we have a
Yeah.
fast track program wherein we try to put you on a fast track program and then try to see whether you are meeting those requirements, and then put you directly on an implementation specialist or a training specialist. So we give that opportunity, and we also take the consent from the client that so and so person is having certain experience, and we wanted to definitely capitalize that. So that is what the answer which I can give it to you. Some of the companies are accepting your experience directly. They're taking you on board, trying to provide you. Ideally, I see 1.5 years of experience. I don't know whether someone will take that into consideration, but ideally they say what kind of specialties you have worked, what is your experience in terms of the physicians, how many physicians you have worked. So they review your background and what are your capabilities in terms of whether you wanted to become a trainer or you wanted to become an implementation specialist. So based on that, they can actually take it forward. Does this sound good for you?
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Okay, I have a question here. How is medical scribe career opportunity for Indian people in other countries? If so, how to approach? Can you give your overview? So, if you want to start a medical scribe career in India for other countries, we have seen, especially as of now, US is very predominant. But there are some areas, for example, we have been seeing some kind of in Australia, Canada, which is coming up at the same time in Europe. We have certain companies which are working. But if you wanted to work as a medical scribe in other countries, then you may have to approach. Maybe you have to get some certifications there and then take it forward. Shruti, does it answer your question? Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, Miss Prashanti.
Sir, can you please repeat once again? There was a lag in the signal. I couldn't hear completely
Uh,
what you spoke now. The
uh,
answer to the question.
Answer to your question.
We will provide recordings, Prashanti. So don't worry about it. He has spoken, and you will be given a recording on that. So don't worry. Any questions you have, please come forward.
Okay, I have a question here. Request you to elaborate with an example how to take short notes while making patient and chart notes. Okay. Dr. Alim, if you're a medical scribe, if you're an experienced medical scribe, what happens, the journey of you becoming a trainee, from a trainee to a doctor approved scribe, will actually teach you how to take shots. The reason why I'm saying is all this training which happens in the 3 to 4 months time is required for you to understand, because you need to understand the accent, you need to understand the accent of the physician, patient, the pace. You need to understand how exactly you can tune yourself to the accent as well as the pace. So the training which we provide, or many of the organizations which are providing, is basically start from the maybe easy notes in terms of like maybe linear visits, like where we have only single complaints. Then it slowly moves from the single complaints to the multiple complaints. So what happens during this journey, in this 3 to 4 months time, you will be able to understand as to how the complexity is increasing from visit to visit. And that's how you will be able to uh, take you through to that program and have an understanding as to how you take the short notes. For example, I'll give an example here. When the physician is talking, like the patient is a 15-year-old male who comes into the clinic. So you say TP, 15-year-old, visit, clinic visit. You take short notes in that way and try to build the context at later point in time when there is a downtime. So that's how you usually build prepare the short notes first, and on that you build the context. Does this answer your question, Dr. Ali?
I guess it is. All right. I think we don't have any questions. And Doctor, she writes, yes, perfect. Thank you. She got the answer. Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative and detailed, insightful session that you have given. And this has certainly benefited us with a lot of insights and a lot of detailed things that you have talked about with the examples that you have given. And that will certainly make our students really very motivated and confident enough. Thank you so much for coming in, and we also look forward to more of such an insightful sessions with you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Kushi. And I think the last question is there here from Ms. Sureka, where she's saying, is it a completely night shift job? See, ideally what happens here is the physicians start working in the EST, CST, and PST zones, like Eastern Standard Time, Central Standard Time, and Pacific Standard Time. So the scribes are supposed to log in either from 5:30 or 6:30 in the evening till morning 3:30, 5:30, and 6:30, depending on the clinic visit or the clinic timings. There are asynchronous process also in place, wherein with a turnaround time of about 4 hours, it's not a real time, but basically a recorded patient and physician conversation comes into us, and then we start listening to that entire conversation and build a chart. Irrespective of any kind of, either it is a synchronous or asynchronous, which is called a real time and non-real time, you may have to work in a night shift only, means at least in the evening shift to early morning shift. So ideally, that is a kind of requirement right now for the medical scribing job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's a wonderful team here. Thank you so much, Ms. Kushi, and really happy to be here and share my insights. Wonderful. And I have given my information here. If you have any questions, any queries, you can always write back to us. Round through the year, we take employees in terms of the trainees and then train them for the medical scribing and medical transcription services, revenue cycle management services. So there are many processes involved. We try to provide them an opportunity. Ideally, we have opportunities right now in Hyderabad and Chennai. Though we have a facility in Mysore, we don't have an opportunity there because we have a team who is working consistently. But we have opportunities both in Hyderabad and Chennai. So if you have any interest, we are definitely welcoming you. You can always approach. We are in touch with Miss Sweta. She is always she can guide you in terms of as to what we can bring in for you as well on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you all.